Okay, so I asked on my posts and I didn't get any responses, which I guess I really didn't think that I probably would get a whole lot. So I'm going to go on ahead and I have decided to color this my own self with the one that I picked. I have decided to... Uh-oh, we don't want that. I had to mute my sound here. And um, so I just wanted to, okay, so we are coloring now. I'm using some colored pencils, and I said there was two of them that I liked. And there was one each from Gemini and from ChatGPT that I liked. I didn't like the one that they gave me for the Disney suggestion. I didn't like that one. It was the Giddy, what was it called? It was called the Ghibli. And so I didn't like the Ghibli one. So I'm going to get started here. I'm going to tone some of this down and start by erasing this off of here. Because I want to do it. You guys will see as time passes which one I picked. I think. Okay, but I want to get rid of some of this because I don't want that much. I may add some, I'm going to leave some of the enhancement there, but I just don't want that much. Oh. Okay, so I've got a little bit of red in there. That looks pretty good. Where was I going with this? Oh, I know what I wanted to put all chat on here so that if I got any questions or anything. So, okay, so I've got that color here. So I want to add in a little bit of orange. I'm going to need my cloth here for blending. My blending tool is what I was looking for. Okay. And so I'm going to be doing some blending here. That might be I'm wondering if I'm doing too much. But I think I can blend it out. We'll see. We'll see here. I don't want to do too much, and I think maybe I just did. But let's see what we did here. Let me go with this on this side. So I'm just kind of going in circles here right now like this. Just going with a little bit of circles like this. Oh my goodness, I'm getting a little bit of yellow here. Oh, yeah. That actually worked out. That worked out pretty good. I didn't have to do a lot there either. Okay, so what I'm going to do is take this on around. Like this. Oh, I see something I already missed. Okay, so something I missed here is I missed this right here. That looks pretty good. And then I'm going to wait. I have a little bit more in here that I could do, but I'm going to blend a little bit. I'm going to Okay. Okay, so we're just blending this up in here a little bit like that. Okay, what I kind of want to do is add just a little bit more yellow, I think, in here. Not too much, but just... let me look and see if I have another yellow color. I do. I do have another yellow color that I'm going to use. Let's flip this on around this direction. They both kind of look the same, though. These two yellows look the same. Like that. Okay, do I need to add? No, I really don't. I was thinking maybe I need to. I do. I'm gonna I'm gonna add just a tiny bit of orange in here like this. We're gonna add a little bit of orange like that. Okay, that looks pretty good. That looks pretty darn good there, right there, like that. Okay, I like that. Okay, so let me see what we got going on here with the hair. Okay, hair, what are we gonna do with you here, hair? Okay, so I've worked on the sun here a little bit, and so... and we've got to do a little bit here with the boat. This is probably, could give away some things, but yeah, probably not. It probably won't. Okay, so I'm gonna... Okay, we've got a little bit of the boat going on here. I'm gonna add in some lighter color in here like this. It's not going to be a heavy. Now see, some of the pencil is getting blended in here. Okay, so we got that part done. I think we've got that part done. Is, you know, okay, we're gonna set you colors out here like this, and just in case we need you again, we're gonna set you out there. Now, what color are we gonna work? Oh, the hair. We were gonna do something with the hair. Okay, what are we gonna do? Okay, we don't want that color. I think that I got this color out to work a little bit with the hair, and so I'm not going to blend it all in completely, you know, but we're going to continue carrying this little this is where pencil will work too. I'm going to continue carrying the line until I get it kind of shaded in this way. This is going to work. And then this is where I want to leave some of my pencil in here because it actually benefits and color helps some of the highlights and dimensions that we've got going on with the hair. Oh yeah, that looks pretty nice there like that. Okay, did I have another pencil? I do. This one, let's see what can't even talk. Oh, perfect. Perfect highlights there. She is so beautiful. She is a very beautiful woman here that we're working on. And so I'm gonna, well, we can get started on here. Actually, which one? Okay, let's get started a little bit. We're gonna do just a little bit of shading here down the back. Okay, the feet actually are, now when, oh, this one, the feet actually kind of look the same. Now some of them didn't actually, one of them, the pictures made the feet a little bit larger. I can't remember which one it was. They made the feet a little bit larger. But we're gonna, I think that I'm gonna leave her just about like that. That's probably good. Now she's got a little tiny bit of a suntan going on, not a whole lot. There, that looks about good, right like that. I don't actually have a tan color though. I was looking to see if I have, oh, this color, maybe this, let's see if we can, that might work, yeah. If we can get her a little bit of a tan color there. Let's mix some of this in with her hair too. Yeah, I remember when I was a kid, this is going to sound so funny. And I just remembered this because of some questions people were asking earlier today. When I was a kid, first learning to color, they kept telling us that, I mean, I already knew, we were told that we were white. And I would pull out a white crayon in class and I'd be like, how am I supposed to color myself with this color because it's not showing up on the pages? I remember asking the teacher that, and the teacher would be like, well, use a different color, maybe pink. So we were told to color ourselves pink in class. We were told to color ourselves pink. I do see pink in myself. So I was told to color myself pink. And then we decided on tan. So this is the closest colored pencil that I have to tan right now. Let's see. Yeah, where's some pink? I really do need to add a little bit of pink in here. Let's see if that helps make me. Yeah, that helps a little bit. That does help. A little bit of pink in there. We'll add some pink in the legs, you know, because we weren't sure what to color ourselves. And so, anyway, I'm trying to make her white, but if I use a white, I don't have a white colored pencil. Oh, yes, I do too. This is the color when I was learning. When I was a kid in school, I'd pull out this color and I'd ask the teacher and I'd be like, how am I supposed to color myself? I asked that to my mom too. How am I supposed to color myself with this color? Let's see if this works. Oh man, I don't see any color on here. I'm trying to make myself white. And that's what they told us, we were white. And I was like dumb enough when I was in school to actually hold it up to my skin and I'd be like, okay, that's white. You know, I mean, I had no idea. Well, actually, I think I did. Even my tiny little brain at that time, my tiny little pea brain that didn't know anything at all, knew that these colors were nowhere close together. These colors were absolutely nowhere close together. In fact, pink is nowhere close there either. But, well, let's see, this color. Well, that color's still kind of dark. Let's see. Let's see if there's this color. That color could be, you know, if I don't scribble too hard, because this is condensed. Let me see here. No. Let me see if I can make myself white. No, that ain't working. And those darned veins. I've had those since I was in kindergarten. I asked my mom and my grandma and my teachers why I could see my veins. Nobody ever explained it to me why I could see my veins. I still can see them to this day. Um, that's kind of interesting. I always thought that I can see the veins inside of, kind of like we can see the rivers and streams and valleys on the planet Earth. I think I'm supposed to see my veins. Um, can I see them on my, oh yeah, I can see them on my arms too. What have I got right there going on? What's that? Oh, that must just be a shadow, a tendon. Yeah, that's all that is a little tendon there. Looks like something else is going on, but no, the camera's... Oh, I can see my wrinkles again. I don't need a magnifying glass when I've got my phone here with me. Okay, so let's get on to coloring. And, okay, so I need kind of a grayish color now. Gray, where are you? Or I could use my... No, I do have a gray color. Okay, I could use my pencil. I mean, this is a gray pencil, but I'm using, it's going to be kind of a combination, I think, of these two colors is what's the dress is going to be. I think that's what it's going to be. The dress is sort of a grayish brown. It's a combination. I suppose I could use my pencil. Where's the pencil? Where did you go? Little tiny baby pencil here that we're using up. It's, okay, so any of you will work. And so I'm going to do a little swish here like this. And so it's a kind of a grayish, you know, it might be considered a really drab dress, but that's going to, you know, that's okay. It's going to be a drab dress. You know, a drab color is what we call it, drab. But it's still a beautiful picture, and she's still a beautiful woman no matter what she wears. She is an absolutely beautiful woman. I'll tell you that. No matter what she wears, she's beautiful. And we're going to make this dress. The dress is a beautiful dress too. I think it is. I love it. Well, and there's a ladder on this boat. Okay, let's see if I can get a ladder in here. Oh, I do. Okay, I did get something in there that does look kind of like a ladder a little bit. Let's see if I can get it. There! Oh my goodness, I did get it. Good. I got a little tiny bit of a ladder in there. And so, okay. Okay, so I need, what color do I need? Okay, we're going to put you guys, okay, we're trying to keep these guys here in order right here, because we're working with some earth tone colors. And so I'm going to put these guys all together here like this, because we've got some earth tone colors. Oh, I see what else I need too. We do have bright, vibrant colors. You know, so vibrant is kind of off over here. We've got sort of a maroon color. We're not quite ready to work on that color yet, but I am working on a tiny bit right now, just so you can see where I'm going. I'm sure you've probably figured out which, if you went to my main post page, you probably figured out which drawing I'm doing. Okay, so we've got, okay, so with the rocks, oh, I was working on her dress. Maybe I don't know, the dress looks pretty close to being done as far as I'm concerned. I mean, there's not a whole lot more that I need to cover up. I mean, because it looks I mean, it looks really good. I tell you what, Chat GPT and Gemini, it's like they're my best friend. They know me better. The internet, YouTube knows me better than any human being could ever know me. I'll tell you that right now. Especially, I'm pretty positive that Chat GPT and Gemini, you know, they picked something they knew I would like. You know, and I was having a hard time deciding which one because I liked the green. I could still do the green dock and I could mix them together because I liked both photos. You know, one of them gave me green grass. Two of them gave me green grass, and one of them gave me water. And so Gemini gave me water on both sides. Or wait, yeah, Gemini gave me water on both sides. And that was kind of how I had, oh my gosh, look at that. It's like, okay. Okay, we're going to do some little lines because we had a little reflection thing going on here. And that's what we had in here, was a little kind of a reflection of the water and the boat that was on the dress. Even though it is a very kind of, I know we got to call it a beautiful dress. That's what, well, hello, Zoe. Why, thank you so much. Thank you, Zoe. Thank you. I'm glad you like my art. I watch other people's art. And so, you know, right now I've been watching some of the simpler art. Okay, what color? I kind of feel like I want to add just a little bit more in here. Now I got to get up close to the arm there because that's one thing I've noticed with myself. Or sometimes I can blend it on in too. If I don't get up close enough with the... I can always add stuff in later if I find something that I think should be there. Okay, and so I think what I want to do right now is, you know, maybe blend a little bit. Okay, I think I want to blend. Just going to blend a little bit. Not too much. I don't want to lose all my lines. That looks pretty good. That looks pretty darn good. I am proud of myself on this one. Okay, so I want, what else does that I want to add right here? I'm going to take this down a little bit like this because it shows a little wrinkle right there. I want that little wrinkle. There's something about the wrinkle that I want to be in there. I'm not sure what exactly that is, but I'm just compelled to put this little wrinkle in. And I got to leave the little things to indications for the elbows. And, you know, let's add in a little bit more lines here to make the dress stand out a little bit more. The hair looks pretty good. The hair, if you look at my background, that's what I draw. Oh, you drew this too? Or you drew a similar background? I'm going to have to look and see what you made. I will look at your, hang on here. Let me, okay, what I'm going to do is, you drawed it? Okay, let me go to your channel and I'm going to see what you drawed. Okay, you have, where, do you have a video or something? I mean, I see a guy there. I see a little guy who looks like an older guy that, he looks like a little, he's a cute little kid. I don't see anything else. I don't see any other drawing there. But I see a little kid that's got glasses and just as cute as a button. I'll tell you that. You drawed it yourself. Well, it says Zoe who loves mystery. That's what I'm looking at. You don't have any videos or anything? No pictures, no nothing. And then there's something about you're posting in a foreign language of some sort. And so that's what I was seeing. So if it's wrong, that's you. Okay, you're the little kid? You're the little kid in that picture? The little kid is just as cute as a button. Oh my gosh, if I could adopt that little kid and then maybe I could get a place to live, that little kid is just as cute as a button. I really don't want to have a little kid though. I'm old. I don't want to have a little kid. Okay, so let me finish my drawing here. Okay, so I need to work on, I'm going to work a little bit on some of these rocks here. The kids are hard to take. What do you mean the kids are hard to take? I had my own kids at one time, so I absolutely know how kids are. I have had my fair share of kids in my life. I have done my work and done my prison time being a mother, and I am ready to be done. I don't want to have any more kids. I really don't. So that's one thing that I always looked forward to was, I didn't look forward to what's going on right now. I only looked forward to my kids getting raised and becoming adults. And I also had hoped maybe one day I would be able to be a grandma and be around my kids that way. That never happened. And so I've had to reconcile that, which I pretty much have. And so, and I really don't want to be grandma to someone else's kids. So it's just not the same thing as, people, it's easy for people to say that it is, but, it just doesn't feel that way for me that I would be a grandma. Yes, you're absolutely right. Kids are hard to take care of. You're right about that. That is an understatement. Kids are very hard to take care of, and they're very hard, especially when we have inflation, and then mothers' nerves are stretched to no end. I'll tell you that much right now. I know you guys might think I come across as anti-woman at times, but I'm not. I'm absolutely not. I actually take on the tone sometimes of how men are towards women. So I'm not anti-woman by any means. And I've noticed that a lot of women actually take on the tone that men are towards women, which I think there might be a purpose for that, It works on the internet because I get called bro all the time. It's bro, what is wrong with you, bro? Oh, bro. It's like, okay, I'm not a bro. Why are you calling me bro? I'm not a bro. Stop calling me bro. I'm tired of being called bro. I'm a woman. Do you guys not know this? I'm a woman. And then I get the dumb questions too. Well, are you cis? And it's like, what the hell is that? I don't know what a cis is. It's all with that weird gender identity crap. And it's like we have two genders, male and female, nothing else. And so, that's just how I feel about that. And then there's some people who are actually saying that they think that it's something like ChatGPT or AI that's doing all of this. I don't know. I have no idea if it is or not. But that's just what they're saying. They think that ChatGPT or something similar is doing a lot of the problem causing on the internet, which it could be true. I don't know. But that's what they're saying, is they think that AI is causing a lot of the problems and having a lot of arguments with people. And I raised that issue in a video the other day. And people, I think, to this day sometimes still find it hard to believe that AI can have a conversation with you, but I have 3 chat programs that can. Well, I haven't used Copilot as much. I'm anxious to try it out to see if I can get it to work like Gemini and ChatGPT work. I was a little bit slow. I mean, I know ChatGPT, it came up on a sign, which I thought was funny. It's like, why is ChatGPT and internet stuff being advertised on a sign? But it was at a time when I decided that I wasn't going to be on the internet anymore as much. So I said, what I said was, I'm just not going to use the internet anymore. I'm not going to use YouTube. I'm not going to make videos. And so I was just taking this break and not doing anything. And this thing came up about Chat GPT, and I thought, why do I need it? I know what it is, really, but I really don't need it for anything. And, but it stayed in my mind. It was kind of like, when YouTube first came around many decades ago. I, it I thought, well, if there ever comes a time that we can just direct upload videos, maybe I'll use it at some point. But at that time, didn't, it seemed like, gosh, it takes so long to upload the video onto the internet, and you got to do it with film. It's just something that takes such a long time. But then it wasn't that long. Then I was figuring out how to upload little tiny snippets of videos up onto the internet. And so, so it's kind of the same thing with Chat GPT. And so now maybe, I don't know, who said that? Oh, Tomato Frog said that kids are hard to take care of. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people who now, they need to go to work, don't they? And they need someone to take care of their kids for them. And I bet they probably have a hard time finding someone to take care of their kids for them, because grandma needs paid, doesn't she? Granny needs paid. Why should Granny take care of kids for free? That's what I've always asked. Why should grandma take care of kids for free? Grandma needs paid. And so all these snippety ones that are on the internet, kind of, some of them acting kind of high and mighty, and, oh, I can do this and I can do that, and I didn't have any help. And I've said all along that I had a little bit of help. It was more help than I expected from my parents, actually, when my son was little. I was surprised that my dad actually volunteered to help me take care of my son. My mom didn't want to. And, so she did take care of him. That was the whole thing. There was times that she did, but, like she had said herself, she had told me, she says, well, I don't want to become attached to him, and then you guys move and leave someplace else, and then we're going to miss him and be sad. And, so I was kind of surprised to hear my mom say that, because I thought, well, gosh, you didn't say that when I left home. You wanted us to go out the door as fast as possible, to the point that I didn't tell her that, but I was thinking that. It's like, my gosh, I wish you would have felt that sad about me, when I couldn't find a place to live and I didn't want to be married, and you guys were telling me that I needed to be married and all that crap, because I was pregnant and all that shit, so, I really wished my parents would have felt that way, but they didn't, so their memories tend to be of something different from, they know they did what they did, and, I think they know they were wrong. My mom kind of, towards the end of her life, then she had the Alzheimer's set in and stuff like that. And my dad told me that mom didn't remember anything. And which, I'm sure that's true, that there comes a point where people don't remember anything. But then I watched this woman on YouTube the other day, and she said she's like 109 years old, and she has the best memory. She remembers everything. And so, like, what is it? What is it that makes some people be able to live so long, and they are blessed to have their memory, but then there's other people who are, they age and then they pass away at an average age, maybe around in their 80s, 90s, something like that. And, then they forget things too, It makes sense that you forget things, like when you're in a state and your body's getting ready to pass away. That does kind of make sense to me. But then at the same time, I've heard people say that they do remember some things too. There's things they remember in their long-term memory, so I don't know if that's like muscle memory, or I don't know. And so we all know that. I mean, we're discussing that even on YouTube, and everybody's saying, yes, we know we get old and we die. We're all going to die one day. We're going to die. I mean, we all know that, so I think, so it's one of those things that we kind of have been discussing and we come to terms with. And, so I guess people think that we don't know that we're going to die, maybe. I don't know. I mean, but we don't need church to tell us. Church has been horrific and has been a nightmare for us. Um, you know, there was an element of people who argue and say, oh, there's scientists in church and they're Christian and all this stuff. And it's like, okay, that's how the country was in the past, but it doesn't always have to be that way because a lot of us feel like church is brainwashing. And we can finally say that and not get totally annihilated right now, even though we still will get annihilated. And we'll get censored off of the church, people. I'm fine with that. That just means I'm not going to watch you. I'm not going to go to your church. So if you want a new church of something new, which do we really want a church, or do we just want something that's more of a community of some sort where everybody can go? Because I like the idea more of a community something or another, but I don't know how well that's going to work. Because then there's another element of people who want to keep the politicians away. They don't want the politicians to have a place where they can easily gather and influence people, as we've seen that has been a problem. So they don't want them to be able to easily get to people. Otherwise, what happens is then we just have this influencing campaign within the community or communities, a subset of communities. And typically for me, what I've learned, and I've learned this from TV, from watching fake TV shows, that I know they're fake, shows like the Waltons. When you see someone come up onto Walton's Mountain, those are some good episodes. When you see a politician come up to Walton's Mountain, people, they got mad. I mean, they would be like, well, what do they want? Or they'd be talking about so-and-so came into town. Well, what do they want? That there's some politician or some businessman or something like that. Ma Walton she did not like the businessmen, and she didn't like the big city slickers. So I guess that's where some of my influencing comes from. But it's like, well, when you see on TV that cities are big, they have all these big skyscrapers and stuff. And in my brain, it's like, well, I really don't want to live there. I really just don't. That doesn't look like fun, living in a big, big, tall building. I mean, I have lived on the second floor of a building, and that's all the higher I really want to go. I don't want to live in a skyscraper, and especially being an elderly person. I've had this discussion with myself on a channel. Oh, I was at a Chicago. There was a guy, he was doing this fun zoo thing in Chicago, and I thought it was pretty cool what he was doing. But then he got mad at us. And he was, because he says, I don't need you guys telling me where to go. He says, I'm not a robot. He says, I don't need you guys telling me, go here, go there, turn left, turn right. And so apparently other people had been doing that. So, which I don't know if that's the YouTube chatbots doing that. It very well could be, but he was walking down the street. And so I think he was getting people telling him to turn left, turn right, go here, go there. And what I did was I asked him about another place that was maybe 20 miles away. And he's like, I am in this area. I'm not up there. I don't need people telling me where to go. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I just decided that I'm not going to watch him anymore if you're going to be that grumpy about it. Well, so I left. I mean, I liked the guy. That was the thing. A lot of them I like. And so I was kind of feeling like, well, why is it that there's these people that I like them, but they're getting so angry and upset with me? Because all I did was ask a question, and I didn't know they were so sensitive to things. And so I go back on there again, and they're talking about something else. And he brought up the issue about the tall buildings and things like that. And he was saying himself that he said that nobody can live in the buildings. That's just what he said. He said nobody can live in the buildings because he said even the businesses don't want to be in the buildings. He said that himself. Someone else asked him about crime. That made him upset. He says, the crime is not as bad as what you guys are saying. He says it's just not as bad. And then I think he kicked that person off of his chat. And so I thought, okay, well, he's open to talking about, living circumstances. So he actually did. So I raised the issue with him about living, living in the city and stuff like that. And so he was telling us about that the businesses did not want to, there was something about the tall skyscrapers that they couldn't function inside of the tall buildings. And so I started asking him a series of questions. I'll ask people questions to see how, and the reason I ask them questions is to see how they respond instead of me, but I will put an opinion inside of the question sometimes. And so that's just something I do just to try to see if I can get a feel for what direction they're going to go, what they want to talk about and things like that. So I will put an opinion in a question. So one of the things I started asking him was, I said, well, do you think that it would be suitable for a disabled senior citizen to live on the 20th floor of a building that does have an elevator, but can they get groceries? So I would ask things like that. Can they get groceries? Is there a grocery store inside of the skyscraper? I started asking questions like that, which was loaded with opinion in my question. I purposely do that. And so, and then he said, then he's like, okay, the city is not a place for senior citizens or anybody to be living in skyscrapers. I don't want to talk about this. And so then he opened the door for talking about it, for business not being inside of there. And then he decided he was upset and he didn't want to talk about people not being able to live in the buildings either. And so one of the issues that was raised was related to the water, and the sprinklers related to September 11th. And so September 11th, there's still a lot of commonalities to over 20 years ago. And they said that with the sprinklers inside of the tall buildings, that the water supply was cut off to the top. And there's absolutely no way that the water sprinklers would have helped put the fire out that happened in the World Trade Center. And so, so I think it's a safety thing for people in a building that tall, for everyone who thinks that most people do not want to live in a building that tall. And so that's why it's so, and the other thing that's coming out too is the people from New York. Gosh, I watched a video of a guy today who actually said that New York City he said it's dead. He said people are just not there. They've all left. He said they don't want to be there. He said the business is not coming back. He said they don't want to be living in those tall buildings. And so he said COVID pretty much killed New York City. He said it's just not the same as what it was before. So I don't know. I'm going to have to listen to the rest of his video to see what he says about it. But, there was discussion at one time about where the next war would be in the, around the world or something. And someone always were saying, they said, well, there's going to be a war on the big cities. In the big cities in the United States, there's going to be a war on the big cities, which I never, now I understand it a little bit more about what they're talking about. But I think it's related to inflation too. But these guys who are in New York City are saying the buildings in New York City are empty. They said there's nothing in them. People are not living in them, is what they're saying. They said nobody is living in those buildings. So don't you guys find that odd? Why are they building those tall buildings in New York City, in the big cities, and nobody is living in them? I mean, there might be a few people living in them maybe, but for the most part they said nobody is living in them. So why is that? I mean, isn't that a lot of waste of money? Like fraud, waste, and abuse, that they're building these tall buildings when they could have been building homes for people to live in, but instead they're building those tall buildings in a wasteland, in a swampland that is going to be underwater in in the next 100 years. I think in the next 100 years, New York City is going to be underwater, like a lot of the coastal cities along the United States are going to be underwater. They already are. They're showing signs of that stress, of where there's going to be no tide, and that's what they call it. Once the water just stays, it's just called no tide, because the tide no longer comes in. And so, yeah. But it sounds to me like with Chicago, it's a sensitive issue with Chicago and people who live there, because they're doing something to do with tourism or something like that. And so they're getting upset because they're doing their videos, and I guess it's their job to promote some kind of tourism or something in the city. And then when people ask them certain things, they get rather sensitive about those certain things they talk to them about on video, because they're trying to be tour guides of some sort in their videos. And then someone asks them about the videos, and so they just were trying to highlight the city in the best light that they can. And then those of us on YouTube ask them bona fide, genuine questions, and they don't like it. They get really upset. And it's like, okay, well, you guys are doing your live streams, and now all of a sudden, out of the blue, you're getting upset at us. We're asking you questions, and you shouldn't be getting that mad about us asking you questions. But that's kind of what's been happening. And one of them was earlier this year. It was a guy. He was in the zoo up there in Chicago. So they had this big zoo or something. And, it's like, I didn't mean to upset him. I didn't know he was that sensitive about the zoo. He went from a zoo. We were having fun inside of the zoo. And I didn't know that he had a specific area that he was in either, in the city. And so I was just trying to ask him questions that a lot of times they have an opinion. And, I mean, that's normal. That's something I have always done, is ask questions that have opinions in it, because questions sometimes are not as bad as a statement. So if I make a statement or a bold-faced opinion, then it sounds bad. But if I ask an opinionated question, then it may not sound as bad. Just depends on who's doing it, on who sees it what way. And so, okay, rocks, we gotta do something here with you guys. We gotta get you to looking a little bit more like rocks, I think. I don't know, that looks pretty good though. That's not too bad right there. That looks pretty good. I got a little bit more yellow in there than well, that's okay, I guess. Or we could blend it out. Let's see, a little bit. It's not even yellow, it's that tan color that I put in there. I could see if my white pencil works. Let's see if the white pencil works. No, not really. I always think that's funny. They give us a white pencil and it really doesn't work. I don't see it working. White pencil, you're not working very well. Okay. I got an itch on my back. Anyone have any questions or anything? Or suggestions? Comments about anything or any drawings you'd like to see in the future? Okay, so I like boat slip dress. This turned out pretty good. And so, but I've got more to do here. So I've got, wait a minute, what color was I using here? Was that purple or no? Okay, so we want to do, we're putting a little, oh, perfect. That's the color I'm looking for. We're going to blend a little bit here. Okay, bird. What color are you? We got to add, yeah. I'm going to put a little brown there. I'm going to put a little brown here. There. That's good. Okay, we got you right there. And okay, so I really need kind of a, I'm not seeing the color that I thought. Wait, you might be it. This might be. Okay, what color are you going to be? Yeah, you might work here. Okay, I need a kind of a combination of light and dark here. Okay, so I need a little bit darker colors in here. Not all of them. Not all the areas are going to be so dark, but I just was trying to portray a shadow. Some little shadows here, a mixture of browns and darker colors. I could do some reds in there too. I like to mix reds in to make things darker too. Red is always a good color to. Okay, so we got you guys in here. Some colors in here. Okay, I need to make you a little bit darker here. Just a little bit darker. A little bit darker. A little bit darker there. That's pretty good. That looks pretty decent. Maybe I shouldn't have put the brown in here. Let's see if I can. Okay, we are getting rid of some of that brown. I'm not too fond of the brown in there. Okay, so I lightened that up. Okay, let's see if we can't darken it up a little bit. Get rid of some of the. Okay. Okay, that looks okay. That looks a little bit better there. Okay. Okay, we can apply. It's my project, and I can apply a little bit of pressure here, and we'll blend this stuff in like that. So some of it's sitting up higher. That's why we have the lighter stuff up there, because it's sitting up higher and it's catching a little bit of sunlight there as the sun's setting down. So some of these rocks are exposed to the sun. Oh, we do have some brown over there. Okay. Okay. We've got a little bit of brown. Oh, I like this one. See, that's what I should have did over here. Okay, let's do a little bit. Okay, that's going to pop it off. Okay. When all else fails, kind of make some little cross hatching and put a little bit of curve in it. When it looks too flat, add a little bit of cross hatching. And then we're going to pop that out there a little bit more. When all else fails and your rock is looking too flat, crosshatch and curve, and then we're gonna get, alrighty, that's what I needed. Okay, now my eye is seeing things not as flat. It's more dimensional, 2-dimensional, it's not 3-dimensional, but 2-dimensional here. That's what we're getting there. She looks pretty darn close, though, to, my goodness. She looks pretty darn close right now, but I still have a lot of coloring left to do. I've got to do a little bit in my clouds, but she looks pretty darn close to the image that I got from Gemini. Okay, your drawing of the sun feels warm, like I'm right there. I know, yeah, that was the thing that I kind of liked about it too. It was bright and warm, and see, I liked both of the images. I liked the one that had the green dock too. And so right now, if I needed a picture, I can't just print my picture out because I don't have the means to print anything. If I did, I would have printed out a second picture, and I actually would have done a live stream of both of them separately. I would have done 2 different drawings. So if I want to do this again, I would have to draw the girl all over again by hand. Okay, I kind of want to make this a little bit darker. I want to make the dock just a little bit darker. I'm just scribbling too here. That's all I'm doing is scribbling. So I've got a mixture of browns that I'm using. And I'm just kind of scribbling on the side with my pencil, on the side like this, across it. Making a thick line. And that works. That just works out really well. And I want to get up next to her legs too, because sometimes when I leave the parts of the person or right up next to the person, then it kind of leaves space in there that makes it not look right. But that looks pretty good. I mean, my goodness sakes. I like that. The boat is a little bit different. My boat just stands out a little bit different from Gemini's boat. There is a detail on here, I think, that Gemini put on. Let me see. Yeah, there is. It's almost like it's kind of like a little rickrack thing going on. I don't know if Gemini put rickrack on there or the look. That's something old-fashioned. I don't know if people still use it or not, because we're having this conversation that sewing and crafting is not as popular as what it used to be, which I think that's true. That right now, and I guess that because of the way times are, it is harder for women to be able to do things because women have to go to work, and so women don't have as much time to be able to do things as women would like to do. Okay, so her dress is kind of grayish and dingy looking here. It's a beautiful dress, but it's still grayish and kind of dingy looking. And so this is sort of a reflection of the boat down here. Maybe I should kind of put something that looks like a... Yeah, we'll add the reflection in here like that a little bit. And kind of try to make it look like a reflection a little bit. There, that's pretty good. Not too bad. Okay, so what color do I want to make the rays? The rays, the sun rays. Okay, let's take a look here. No, you're going to be too... We are going to use this darker. Let's see if it's too... Okay, don't press too hard. Okay, too hard. That's too hard. That's too hard. Okay, too thick is what I should be saying. Okay, that'll work. And we'll just blend these in. So I've got kind of a maroon color that I'm using here. What I should have done first before I did that was this. Okay, that's what I should have done. Okay, we're going to do some of this in here. And we're going to fan it out. We're going to fan it on out. And then we're gonna smudge and dodge is what we're gonna do. And so when I say smudging and dodging, it's kind of like in Photoshop. And I actually found something really cool on my windows. That there is a I don't know. Maybe they decided not to be so cheap after all, or I don't know what happened. But on my Windows, there's like a photo editor, and I was shocked. I found a photo editor, and it's really, really good. And I'm like, my goodness sakes. Um, you're letting us do this stuff, and you actually decided to put some money into and give back to us so that we can actually use something on Windows that actually works. Instead of saying that you're not making any money when you know you've been making a lot of money. And so Bill Gates has been being kind of cheap. That's what I'd say. Unfortunately, I always liked Bill Gates, but I think he's cheap. I mean, he's got that great big gargantuan-sized mansion. And I always thought, how in the world do you get a job with Microsoft or working for Microsoft? Okay, that looks pretty good there like that. Don't give up. You're doing great. Why, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Okay, so I need to work in a little bit more. Okay, we're going to put in a little bit more colors in here. Oh my gosh, that is so beautiful. It's just so entirely too beautiful for my eyes. Such a beautiful sunset. So romantic. She's there by herself. There's no man around to bother her or anything. Maybe she could get lonely at times, but, you know, if she's been tattered and torn in life, you know, I mean, she does look a little bit tattered and torn there, standing there at the end of the dock, looking at the sunset. Oh, this is nice. This turned out really, really good, actually. Let's do this. Let's add a little bit of line there, and then we're going to add a little bit of other line. Oh, ooh, nice. Okay, now we might have a little bit too thick there, though. Let's kind of smudge it in. We're going to smudge and dodge it in there. We're going to smudge it in. Okay, you're a little bit too dark, so let's do this. We got to add a little bit more red in here. Yeah. We got to add some more sunshine in here right on the horizon. We got that going on. Okay. Oh, no, I colored on my background. That's okay. That's what it's for, right? Right. Okay. Oh my gosh, that looks perfect. That's perfect. Okay, so we've got, this looks pretty good in here. I should just, we'll add a little bit on the outside there. I think we need to put a tiny bit. Yeah, that's good. That'll blend in if we get too much in there. I don't want to put too much in there. That dock looks pretty good, though. And so, okay, so now down further. Oh, we do have some more rocks down here that I didn't do. So I was working on, okay, so we've got a little bit of white caps down here at the bottom. Oh, wait a second. Okay, here you are. Okay, so we've got darker color down here. Okay, so I'm trying hard not, oops, did we not get that on film? Everybody still calls it film. Are you filming? Are you filming? We're not filming. No, we're not filming. How could we be filming? Because we're not filming on the internet. We don't film on the internet. We're not using film, even though they think that's funny. They think that's, are you filming yourself in the film studio? No, we have not been filming for, I didn't use film that much. I've used digital a whole lot more than I ever used film. So we got a little rock in here. The rock actually looks like it has sea moss on it. Okay, so we're gonna, let's see if we can't layer in some sea moss on here. That might be too. Uh-oh, sea moss. That was a terminology in the computer at one time. Sea moss. What was that? Sea moss. Okay, and I need... I was looking for olive green color. Do I have olive green sort of color in here? Because that one is evergreen. That's a little bit too much. Nope, that's not the color I was looking for. Where are you, olive green? I thought that I had an olive green. This might be the closest that I get to olive green. Yeah, that's going to work right there. Let's see if we can't cover you up a little bit there. Oh, that might work. Yeah, that might work a little bit. Okay, does it look like a rock though? I'm not so sure that it looks quite like a rock. What I wanted it to look like a rock, but it's kind of just as there. Okay, maybe if I do this, if I add this little piece right here, maybe it'll look like a rock, more of a rock than what I got it looking like right now. It's too flat. You know, the colors are just too flat. And it just looks like a blob of green to me right now. I was wanting it. Oh, maybe it's not so bad there right now. I'm not sure. I'm not so sure. Okay, I'm seeing something else. What I need to... I want to add a little bit of this color into here. Not too much, just a little bit. I just say that to remind myself not to add too much color in and get rid of all the highlights. If I get rid of all the highlights, then we don't have any depiction of the sun shining on our dock. And I need the sun shining on my dock. Who do you miss so much? Who is it that you miss so much, Zoe? You miss Boat Slip Woman? Look at that. Oh my gosh, that almost looks like chalk. You know the nice, oh, look at the iridescent there. The iridescent shining there on the paper. Really pretty. Okay, so what I need to add, I know I saw a story today. There was it was a story today that almost fits in with my real life of something that happened, and it's like, oh my gosh, if it could have been, you know, it's like I'm here to actually tell what happened to me, but this woman is not. And I'd always said, the thing I'd always said is, if my ex-husband had gone any further, I would not be here today. And I know that without a doubt, that he was that kind of vicious person. And I've always said that. It's like, you know, I mean, and I'd listened to the police officers who had testified about things, and they had always said that a lot of times they'll arrive at scenes of domestic violence places, and they just don't know what's going on. They have no idea, and they said a lot of times that they'll end up at a scene of something that happens, and the woman is gone. They have no idea what's going on, what's been going on in those people's lives. Okay, so we do have another, no, you're not green, but we're going to keep you there for a minute. Okay, olive green, where did you... Oh, we finally found real... Here's our olive green right here. This is what I was looking for. Okay. We have another rock here, and so I needed... We've got some rocks here that kind of have moss on them, moss hanging on them. And that's why I'm having a hissy fit about not finding... Is that a good old word? That's a good old word. Hissy fit? That's an old people word. I don't think young people probably use that word. a whole lot. And so that's why I'm having a hissy fit about not finding my olive green. But I still have to add more colors in there because I don't want it to just look like grass. I want it to try to look like moss. Maybe I should have scribbled a little bit. You know, sometimes scribbling is the best thing when it comes to your artwork, and you get the best design just by scribbling a little bit. I think that's it. That looks, I mean, that might be it. Now the problem I have right here is, like, if I want it to be on the edge, I feel like I need to color off the edge, so I need to, otherwise, then it's like I have just an edge of white, a white strip there. So I try to get as close to the edge as I can. You know, but I think that's good right there like that. It's standing, you know, but you know it's standing out too much. So what I need to do is it needs to be a little bit darker. Oh, perfect. Okay. That's what's missing. These are too light. Okay, let's see if we can't. Yeah, that's what we need. Okay, so this depicts the mossy looking rocks. And we'll get some, oh yeah, that's better. And so the curves is kind of so it's not flat. So I don't have a completely flat rock on my paper. I need it to look dimensional, two-dimensional at least. And so, okay, so we've got, yeah, that's looking pretty good right there. Pretty good. And let's add a little bit of dimension in here with these a little bit. We'll get some of that. Even though we got some flat stuff in there, let's add a little bit of rounded there. That's not gonna, this one looks like a ham. I've been seeing that. It looks like a ham. It does. In this world, we got a boat on her backside and a ham over here is a rock, and this bird is probably, we need to give the bird an eye. There. There, now you've got a little eye. Let's add some little feathers up here. Make you look like a little cockatiel or something like that. Okay, and so, okay, let's put you down. And so we're going to work a little bit more on a little bit darker colors. Well, so we got a little bit of purple and blue in here for darker colors because the sun's setting. This part here is shadowed, but we're still going to make it a little bit pretty though. We're not going to make it completely dark. We're just making it kind of shadowed up there a little bit. Just like that. What else are we going to do here? Okay, and we're going to do this, and there's a little bit, you know, the little white ripples, the white caps that you got in there. That's what I got going on right in here. This is still standing out too much though. I'm thinking it's, I don't know. It's still standing out too much for me, but I think I'm going to leave it for right now. Yeah, I think I'm just going to leave it for right now and work on these other parts up here. So, okay, so let's go back up here to, let's see. Okay, we're going to kind of curve the, oops, let's get in the picture here. Let's kind of curve around like this. I don't want to get too big of lines on the curvy part. I don't want my lines to be seen too much. I just kind of want them blended in a little bit like that. It looks sort of pink here from what I'm seeing. Maybe on camera it looks a little bit pink too. Okay, we got your best friend. Okay, let's see what we got going on. Haven't even done anything with the clouds either. I really should. We got our clouds in here. Okay, let's work a little bit on our clouds. Okay. Okay, let's do, okay, we're going to use this color And we are going to use, no, we don't want brown quite in there. What other color? Well, let's just use lead. Lead, well, we're going to use lead pencil for some of this in here. We're going to pop you out just like that. We're just coloring a little bit sideways. We're going to pop you out just like that. And then we're going to do some. Well, that looks pretty good. Oh my goodness sakes. Oh, surprise, surprise. Okay, so let's. Well, that doesn't look too bad right there like that. So let's color you right here. And that's not too bad. Maybe I don't need to use the other color. You never know with clouds what you're going to get. It almost looks like angel wings. Okay, so we've got a little bit more clouds in here. Oh, perfect. Oops, I wasn't even, was I? Maybe I was in screen. Okay. I was thinking that I wasn't on camera. Then I'm going to muck this up a little bit like that, just so we get a little bit more cloud there. We do have another little cloud over here. And there like that. Oh my goodness, yeah. Lead pencil works perfect for that. Now if we want to add a little more color in, we can. And we got two different colors going on here. I like that. And I always have to remind myself sometimes less is more. Less is more, so I don't cover up all the white. We leave ourselves some white space because the white space will add in highlights. And so we can add a little bit, just a tiny bit in here. And so what I'm going to add in right now is just a little bit of a shadow of a little bit of blue, just a tiny bit. I don't want to add in a whole lot, but I always see blue in the clouds, and especially at the bottom. So I'm just adding a little bit of blue in here. I could have added navy blue. We got a navy blue here. Let's see what navy. So one of my navy blue has a combination of purple. So we covered this up. Yeah, I like that. Okay, and let's see, what have we got? We got some up here. This is indicating darkness coming in up here. So what we got going on up here is the blue. The blue sky. And so we got the darkness up here that's coming in at the top because the sun is setting. Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. It doesn't pop out quite as much. Now I've got two blues here. This one is more purple than this one is. This one's more navy blue. Let's get a little navy in here. Oh, do you see that? Oh, perfect. Oh my gosh. I'm so happy when I can find the colors that I'm looking for. That's exactly what I'm looking for. I love colored pencils. I like playing with chalk, but chalk can actually erase off of things so easy that I like the colored pencils because you can kind of get the same effect with colored pencils that you can with chalk. Let's add a little bit more of the purple in here. There we go. We're okay, now we're popping off here. We're popping off really good with our colors. That is a awesome sky. Beautiful. What do we need? I need a powder blue. I'm seeing a little bit of a powder blue. Powder blue, where are you? Powder? Are you powder? Let's see. Let's do this gently. Yep. You are absolutely powder blue we got going on here. Kind of a powdery blue that we have here. Just ever so lightly. I know the camera sees this. I don't know if you guys can see it as well. I know the camera sees. Ah, I love it. I love it. Look at that. Okay, let's pop. Do we need to? It looks so. I know what I'm seeing here. This is what I'm seeing that I need to work on a little bit. Is I might have made my lines too. Let's see if we can't blend these lines in a little bit. I'll just have to, I'm darkening them down into kind of a dusty rose because we've got a dusty rose here. I don't know, maybe this is Rose from the Titanic. It could be. She could be. Maybe it's Rose from the Titanic. Did you ever think of that? Rose is still out there. Rosie the Riveter? Very well could be. You never know. Okay, let's blend. We're going to blend a little bit. We're not using anything expensive. Just a napkin or toilet paper, a tissue. If the clouds get to be too much, you can kind of blend them in a little bit. And so if you end up with, where you've got too much colors blending in, just kind of unwrap it like this. I'm just going to unwrap it, fold it back on around like that, and stick it on the end of our pencil like that. And we're going to dodge and smudge it in here like this. Going to blend it in. So easy. Okay. Now, I should have done that. I should have done that afterwards because I still wanted to blend in over here. I wanted to blend you guys in a little bit, but I didn't want to get the smudging from the pencil on there. Okay. Okay, so we have, this is what I'm missing over here. I am missing some of this. And what else am I missing? I know what I'm missing. I'm missing a little bit of, let's add a little bit of lighter red up here. Yeah, we're going to do that. Just a little bit. Okay. Add a little bit of color down here. You're not as dark, but let's add a tiny bit of navy. We got a little navy going on there. We don't have as much here because it's brighter right next to the sun. So we're not going to add color in there right now, but when you do your drawing, you can do it however you want to. Alrighty, that looks pretty good. I'm still seeing the thing. I don't know. You know what? It's screaming right now at me to just stop. That's what it's doing, is screaming at me to stop. The only thing I'm having a problem with is one, two, these little guys right here, my moss rocks. Um, they're kind of frustrating me right now. Oh, here's my pencil color that I was looking for. But what I'm going to add in here that I'm seeing is I need to add some water lines in here like this. We're going to kind of blend that in like that. We're going to kind of make the water look like it's splashing up around these rocks like that. And we do have a little bit more dark water right here. We're adding you in there. Now if you need more lines, you know, pick up the pencil if you need more water lines to indicate water flowing. Just add a little bit in there like that. The pencil sets it off. It shows movement. Just add it in afterwards like that. You see that? It shows the movement there. She looks pretty darn good. She really does. She is beautiful. She looks pretty darn good if I don't say so myself. I mean, I am myself and I am saying so. So, I'm happy. I mean, my gosh, myself and Gemini and ChatGPT, we did an awesome job together here. And we included each other. You know what's funny? It almost looks like this is a pocket on a pocket boat. But it's actually the water. It's a water here on the boat, on the boat slip dress. It's pretty cool. I always amaze myself every time because when I was a kid, I had such a hard time with drawing. And this is how I wanted to draw. Now, my problem was I was trying to make it look too perfect. And when I say perfect, I was trying to make it look like the perfect pictures in the books where everything is all nice and perfect. And then I started learning as the years passed that it's like, well, wait a minute. If I make it look perfect or just with one color, like in the coloring books, we have no highlights, and then that's not perfect. And so the highlights, you know, when you just have one flat color, then nothing stands out. And so I like that. Okay, I think that's it. And we're going to have a little bit of fun later on with, I'm going to do a short. And we're going to see we're going to see what we can make her do. If she'll dance or, I don't know. Right now there's a lot of kitten stuff. And the only thing I don't have, I used and wrote on the thing, I called that one Boat Slip Woman C. I don't have that written on here. Typically, I would write my name and I would sign my name on my paper artwork. I'm not doing that live on camera right now. Maybe I will in the future. I don't know. It just depends. But, so we'll see you guys the next time. This has been fun. Turned out really good. I just need to add, wait, wrong color. I need to add a little bit more right here. There. We might have to blend, but let's see. Yep, that's good. I like that. She is beautiful, absolutely beautiful. The whole thing, everything about her is beautiful. Okay, well, that's it. We'll see you guys the next time. If you have suggestions, leave a suggestion and, you know, or pop something up and we'll see what we can do for making another drawing. I mean, drawings are fun. They're quick and easy and not something we have to spend a lot of time on making. So we'll see you the next time.